Welcome to the Health and Wellness Check-In with Chrisa and Navah Paskowitz Asner, a 30-minute program meant to support the special needs community's mental health needs. And now your hosts for the next half hour, Chrisa and Navah.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. I'm Chrisa, and today I have two special guests that will be joining me. It's Mental Health May. So I'm so excited to be doing this broadcast because I have two people from our Ed Asner family team from the mental health department. And we have Jeff Annan and we have Michelle Tapia. And hey, everyone.
Hello.
How are you?
Can you all hear me okay?
Perfectly.
And Michelle, you're good with the sound as well?
Yes, Chrisa, thank you. How are you?
Hi, doing well. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining at the, very, very last minute. But, we are missing Navah very much, and we hope that she will be with us next week. And that, I'm so happy that we have a team of people that can just jump in and take care of business, when we need to. So I really appreciate you guys helping out today.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So did you all hear about May being Mental Health Month?
I did manage to get that PSA.
And it's interesting. Why did they pick May? I mean, every month is something different, right?
Yeah, I know last month was spectrum disorders, and now we get mental health disorders. So
right.
I'm not sure what's going on.
I just think, there's only 12 months. I wonder how Mental Health May got a whole month there, but very much needed. And I've been researching some articles. Here we are, 1 year, a year and some change since the pandemic began. And it's halfway through May, although we're in May. But we're really looking at a lot of high need for mental health services. And I know at the center, our phone has been ringing off the hook. That's it's really telling how necessary, our services are for people in the community. And, we're a small team of people, so we're really trying to accommodate as many people that we can. But of course, we can't accommodate a lot of people. So, if we're booked, which is a good problem, I encourage people to keep looking for a therapist that might have availability. Because it's, you both know how hard it is to actually make that phone call. And when it could take you months, it could take you weeks to make that phone call and to decide that you're ready for therapy. And then all of a sudden there's no availability. So it's pretty tough. Michelle, I just kind of wanted to check in with you both to see, I want to talk about the positive things that we've seen within our clients. And of course, everything is confidential. But if either one of you have a story that you'd like to share about somebody coming in, depressed, anxiety, whatever life issues brought them, into therapy, if there's any sort of success stories that you could talk about, in a confidential sort of way, I would love to hear. And I'd love our audience to hear about some positive therapy stories.
Yeah, especially for teens, it's their peer group that they most rely on for their what we call emotional support. For them, they would just say, "Oh yeah, I don't get to hang out with my friends." And hang out means share. Hang out means support. Hang out means have somebody to talk to that knows exactly where you're coming from. Because of course the parents are always down on you, some respect. The schoolwork is too hard. The teachers are mean. All of that. They don't really get to share it as much. And part of that isolation certainly is a recipe for being depressed.
Mm-hmm.
and it sort of feeds in on itself as you get more and more depressed. You want to reach out more and more to your peers, to your friends, and with this pandemic, they're less and less available. So have definitely stepped in, kind of like a stopgap middle area where somewhat, yes, we're helping them figure out what's going on with them and give them some tools to help them through this depressive period. But certainly being part of that support system that needs to jump in there and bridge the gap and help them with whatever's going on in their heads right now.
Absolutely. I mean, well said. I pulled an article that said it was from the CDC. They had done a survey in June of 2020, kind of around when the pandemic first started. But then they did another survey, and they surveyed 2,500 young adults ages 18 to 29. And they sort of listed some of the indicators that, sometimes it's not severe depression or panic attacks, but subtle needs that might show up in a person's life. And they talked about having low energy, trouble with sleep, loss of pleasure in doing things that you normally liked doing, poor appetite or overeating or trouble concentrating. All those things make people feel out of sorts. And they try to they sort of throw you off balance and you don't feel yourself, and then you're not sure what's happening. And so it could throw you into anxiety or depression. And so sometimes we don't even think that those things are really indicators of needing support or needing peer support, like you talked about with young people. But that could even be an indicator that something's just not right in your life. And maybe that might mean that somebody needs to reach out to explore what's going on. Michelle, do you have any stories that you could tell us that some of your clients that might have found some support and relief?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have. There's one family that I'm thinking of in particular who came in because they were feeling overwhelmed with the pandemic, because they have special needs children at home, and all of the schools closed, and then all of a sudden, they have this anxiety over not being able to leave their home, and the fear that came with the pandemic and the virus, but then also the anger and the frustration with not feeling capable to parent their children without support. Trying to get people, trying to develop coping skills, trying to develop anger management and communication skills has been really beneficial to several of my clients.
And that's exactly what therapy is about too, is that we want to give people skills and tools for managing their life. And whether it's, like you just said, anger management skills or simple skills to like think through, do they want to explode? Do they want to react? Or do they want to stop, take that breath, and just try to find a different kind of solution to the problem? And especially if people aren't sleeping, or their nutritional habits are off, or they're drinking or overeating and not feeling, sugar is a huge substance too that people forget, that, we might over medicate with sugary treats or sugar drinks or Gatorade or whatever. And it sends us up and then we crash back down. I'm totally guilty of it. I have the 3 o'clock head bob that right around 3 o'clock I take sugar or caffeine. And it is so hard to get through that 3 o'clock sort of like draggy feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also, the other thing too is that what also might throw us off and throw our mental health and our wellness out of some sort of like stability is our worry about other people too. I know during the pandemic, I was so worried. Was my family going to get COVID? Were my friends going to get COVID? What would that mean? We were worried about so many things. I mean, the list is endless. Washing the outside of our groceries, was a big to-do item. Remember that? We all had to put the
went to
gloves on.
Costco, right? I had buckets of stuff. We piled them all near the door, and one at a time, we fed them across and wiped them all down. Yeah.
An assembly line. Yeah. And the Costco, the toilet paper roll at Costco is about this big. You can't miss a section of it because, we were told COVID's on it. And I know people that left their groceries in the garage for like at least a week.
Yeah.
And then would bring them in hoping that all the germs were off of the items. So that was another thing to add to our instability or, our plate of that's going to dysregulate us and throw us out of balance. So lots of things, lots of worries that add to somebody's instability. That's part of the awareness, is that it doesn't have to be like, oh, I had a terrible childhood, I better go to therapy, or sometimes it's the little things that just get us.
Absolutely. And we don't always have to talk about our childhoods in therapy. That's kind of a misnomer. A lot of people think that they have to go back and talk about the past and go back to those painful places. But it's really not necessary. Some people really enjoy it and they want the insight, but other people just want to figure out today, how do I feel better today? And how do I get through next week?
Absolutely. Well said, Michelle. Because you're absolutely right. And as a therapist, I tend to just work with what's coming into the room, what are their current issues, and then sort of like, spend some time to listen and hear about what their needs are. And then as an undertone, I'm listening to familial patterns, like, oh, did that show up when they were a kid? I wonder what the origin of that is. And so I might dive into that a little bit to really look at what's feeding that type of depression, or what's feeding that behavior, or that low self-esteem, but it's not until I've really gotten to know the person, because it's really about safety and trust when you're working with someone and they're telling their life story to you. So you have to feel the energy in the room and feel, is there safety, is there trust, before you can really dive into a lot of that.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I think that's a great point to let people know that might be on the fence about coming in for therapy. Is it's not always the Freudian or Jungian. Jung put people on the couch, right? With the clipboard and the taking the notes.
Sure he did.
I just wanted to tell everyone we have Will Asner watching today. I just wanted to say hi, Will. He's I call him my godson. He's the most amazing person, so loving and so sweet and so smart. And I love spending time with my godson, Will Asner. So thanks for watching today, Will. Another thing that I think is very interesting is that this survey, and I don't have the statistics of who was surveyed and it's a study that was done, but it was done with 3,500 full-time students, because, the 18 to 24-year-old population is really struggling, and it's really hard for them at times to reach out. They typically go to their friends. They might, find other ways and other outlets to get some help instead of thinking about coming to therapy. But they said that in the study that they just did, and the results came back in November of 2020, that 81% of college students were experiencing significant levels of anxiety. And so, that's really, really high. And I was trying to do research also about what the need for therapy was prior to the pandemic and what the need for therapy is now. And I'm sure it's just through the roof. I mean, if it's any indicator, our phone is ringing like crazy. That's got to be an indicator in itself. And so it's really a sign of the times.
Yeah, and I think it being in the news, I've heard several government announcements, several news announcements, several Facebook posts, Instagram posts. Reach out, It's like it made it. Everybody is going through this thing, right? This trauma, and I think we all need help getting through it. And if you are having trouble, it's okay to call these numbers, to talk to these people. I think we have some success in making it more of a normal thing to reach out and not some kind of hidden, some kind of something you keep away from your neighbors if you're seeing a therapist. I think it's more acceptable, at least this initial COVID time, and hopefully further on into the future.
Jeff, do you have if you could talk vaguely, do you have a broad range of clients? Young adults, teens, or adolescents, or older? Do you have any older folks too? What is your practice in terms of demographics?
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly with the clinic here, I have anywhere from a 14-year-old up to a 60-year-old. So 14-year-old male and a 60-year-old female, and some of it is just about what's going on with them, and certainly every one of them has a layer of how their COVID is affecting them, how they're dealing with it, what their fears are about it, through every stage. From the first stages when we're all just sequestered. As you can see, I'm in my converted half bedroom, half office, to just stay in a house for a year, more or less. It's a strange thing. So we are commiserating with them. At the same time, we're helping them figure out some extra tools that we've managed to learn in our training as therapists.
That's right, Jeff.
Say that again, Michelle.
I was just saying, yes, that us therapists are also in the middle of this same isolation and pandemic that our clients are in. And so it does give us a unique perspective to be able to commiserate with them.
Yes, absolutely. And we also need self-care, and we need ways to sort of release that energy that we take on every time we're, I see clients multiple times a week. And so sometimes I'll finish a day after seeing 6 or 7 clients, and then there'll be a family member that might need something, or a friend who's going through something, and they'll just phone me or text me, hey, do you have some time? And I'm like, I'm burned out. The office is closed. The sign closed. Done. I'm out. I'm going to have some dinner and watch the Golden Girls or whatever is so easy to watch, because my brain just needs to shut off at that point.
Well, that's why I even emphasize self-care with my clients, because we are very much cautioned as therapists to self-care, to do stuff specifically to feel better, to treat ourselves, and to call it that. And almost every session I'm ending with my people I get to talk to is, do something fun for yourself. I mean, this has been a time where everybody's picking up, okay, I used to do ukulele, so I'm trying that again. Maybe they did some knitting in the past. Maybe they did some art. It's a perfect time and somewhat necessary that we find those things that gave us joy and start doing them. Just start doing them now, so we can take a break from the pressures of staying inside, living with whoever we're living with 24/7, and dealing with the world issues that we're dealing with now.
Yes, absolutely. And just like our clients, we need to do the same thing. Our clients need to find motivation, even if they're feeling, exhausted, tired. again, all of the people, I think people forget that there's this mind, body, spirit, that it's all connected. And, I've been even reading articles that our diet and our gut can really affect our moods, obviously, like we talked about sugar or alcohol or substance use, and that there's other things that could affect our mood. Also, the tension we hold in our body can really throw us off and cause anxiety. I know that if I'm not eating right that day and I skipped and I'm shaking, I'm like, oh, am I having anxiety or did I forget to eat? And, that could cause me to like worry a little bit, or am I running out of steam because I haven't had enough, to eat that day or whatever, or I've had too much caffeine, which I'm trying to kick. But anyway, all these things can, throw us out of our zone, throw us and dysregulate us. So we need to like also focus, our mind, our wellness, and our body for wellness. And, also people don't always talk about our spirit. What do we believe in? Do we believe in a higher power? Is there some sort of religious, are you Jewish? Are you Christian? Or agnostic or atheist? Do you believe in nature and the universe? What gets your soul going? And what brings you joy? So that is also a piece of, it's not just sitting on the couch and talking about your past and your childhood. It's also about what feeds your soul. And sometimes we rely on that to get us through and, to get us over that crazy bump in the road.
Absolutely. And there are all different types of coping skills. And some of them are really good. Some of them are good for some people, but not for others. Some people, it would be enjoyable to take a break and watch some cat videos on YouTube. But then you get the danger of
guilty.
Right. No, it's very, I love, like any sort of funny animal videos. I love those. But then you have to make sure that you're not using them as a distraction and not dealing with, real problems that we have going on. And a lot of times we fall into the trap when we're talking about coping skills, that what we're really talking about is how can I distract myself from the unpleasantness that's going on. Mm-hmm. And a true coping skill is something that helps us calm down and feel better, but it also helps us come back to actually solve whatever the problem is. And I love actual active problem solving as coping skills. I love it.
It's an interruption of, it could be when you have your coping skills, it's an interruption into the behavior, right? And sometimes it's so hard to pull that out of your head or to remember, oh, what did my therapist say? And what works the best sometimes is a walk around the block. It really clears your head. It gets you some fresh air. I try to do it in between clients just to reset. And, people forget, a big glass of water helps to refresh you too. And I know these are tiny, like minute things, but it might help in terms of coping skills. But the other, part of the other things that I think make our work so interesting. And for me, I do carry, look, anybody's going to be wherever they're at on their journey. I always tell my clients that this is a journey and I'm on the journey with you and we go at your pace. And if you want to dive in and really face some stuff, let's do it. If you want to just take and put your toe in the water, we'll do that. But I think what's really awesome is when a client graduates. I call it graduation. It's kind of bittersweet because I'm sad to lose that person. I've been on the journey with them for such a while that it's just really, I've gotten to know them. I feel very privileged and honored that I get to really be on this journey with them. But there's, it's pretty nice when someone says, you know what, I've been here for quite a while. We've explored A, B, and C, and I'm really feeling like I can try it on my own. And that's what, we hope for, is that we can hand this person these tools and techniques and build this toolkit, right? and then the desire is to go off and try it out. Those are some of the best outcomes. But then I also have people that really enjoy on a weekly basis that check-in and just someone to process life with. That's not their spouse or their kids or a worker. It's just a nice little self-care moment where they get to come in for 50 minutes and just process life with someone that they, really feel safe with. So that's the other part of it too. And I think California is very much like that. I don't know what the other states are like, but some people are more goal oriented where, okay, what's the goal? Let's get to the goal and we're done, versus just processing life. Have you guys had that experience?
Well, yeah, certainly. I appreciate what Michelle was saying, the difference kind of between distraction and self-care. And certainly, I've binged my Netflix shows in the past. I think I've gotten up to 6 at once, but I haven't done, full 5 seasons of Game of Thrones or something like that. But I think it's worthwhile to do those distractions, and they're distractions, but they're fun. And then there's other things that are maybe a little more fulfilling. Certainly what I do now as a therapist is very fulfilling for me and is actually helping me through the pandemic. But the other thing I usually try and emphasize with the people I talk to is some kind of physical activity. I've always been a physical activity guy from martial arts when I was a kid, certainly growing up, born and raised in Hawaii, the ocean, the beach, hiking, some kind of physical activity that helps kind of integrate what's going on with your brain with what's going on with your body and reaching an equilibrium. Because I know I'm the first to say I can get lost in my brain. And the classic is, if you just dwell on the past, okay, that's where you're living, and that's depression. And if you dwell on what's going to happen in the future, you're not living in the now, and that's anxiety. So if you can somewhere, what we're calling mindfulness, right? Stay in the middle, stay here, there's the sun, there's some trees, you be aware of what's going on now, and that's actually where your power is as you go get a handle on what's going on with you, as well as solving the problems that are in front of you. If you can emphasize the now and be mindful of what's going on now. And that's how I've been asking to have somebody do some physical activity. And there's nothing more for me that gets me more in the now than doing that.
Yeah, well said. Is bringing and orienting yourself back to the now and where am I? What's the task at hand, or just the beauty of the moment to recenter yourself. That's definitely part of mindful practice. And hopefully soon. I don't know if they're gonna, for us clinicians, we go to a lot of seminars and things like that. And now everything's online, but I do want us to all explore more of the mindful practice techniques and be able to pass that on to our clients at the center here, because I love mindfulness, and I studied with Thich Nhat Hanh, who's the Vietnamese Zen master that I really enjoy working with. And so hopefully we can really teach our clients more of that mindful practice too. So, and I'm noticing the time right now, and I can't believe it's 30 minutes just whizzed on by. But I really want to say thank you so much to Michelle Tapia, who is a LMFT here at Asner Family Center, and to Jeff Annan, who is a MFT associate. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot for inviting us. Yeah, that was kind of funny. See the email. Hey, what you doing tomorrow afternoon?
And more
Come
of this.
on down.
We should be doing more of this, and really providing our the listeners, our viewers, with more clinicians. I really wish we could have it be more interactive, but we'll sort that out in the future. But just thank you both for joining. And if anyone has any questions, you can call me at 818-855-2199. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you, Chrisa.
You guys take care.
Thank
Hang
you.
in there.
Bye, Jeff.
Bye, Michelle.